So many people want to know why so many males have sort of gone after this Trumpian faux masculinity. I know why Donald Trump acts the way that he does. His dad was a nightmare and a horrible man, and Donald Trump is textbook, whatever the diagnosis is, and I'm not a professional yet, and I can't diagnose across the world, but clearly he is a man that needs a hug from his dad more than anybody I've ever seen. And I see it in so many young men. I posted a video today about a commenter who called me a beautiful grandma. And, a comment like that makes me sad, not because it's a put down for me, but because it's such a symbol of how much this commenter, likely bio male, feels giving feminine attributes to somebody in a biological male body to be such a put down. To be called a woman is to be called second class. I thanked him for calling me beautiful. I wrote a blog on The Collective recently about the phenomenon of young men voting for Trump and the need to detox our masculinity in America. This don't run like a girl, don't throw like a girl, don't cry like a girl mentality really tears our young boys and our young men up. And I can tell you that from personal experience that, and we'll be talking a lot more about this in coming days, how I had to put on a mask of Paul to survive in this world, and it just never quite fit. But there was no language, no thought I could put into doing something different, because there just was no room in an American religious societal household. You're born biological male, and you will play sports, you will, play pool with the boys and razz each other and, flip each other with towels in the locker room, which is what we did when I was growing up. And I hated all that stuff. I was really good at razzing people and embarrassing them and bringing them down, and then I felt horrible every time I did it. I realize now that I hated playing sports. It made me, some of it was, my father was psychotic, screaming from the stands and everything, but some of it was, it just wasn't a fit of who I wanted to be, and I was good at it. But there was no language, there was no femininity in our house. And so feeling something different than Paul, the student council member, the athlete, the girl chaser, was all we knew we could do to survive. And so when I get comments like that from young men, I know that they've been taught, you have to be John Wayne. And when they do that, they put on the mask that they've been told to wear, and they expect, like, I'm going to get this subservient hot wife, and I'm going to live in this big house and have this big job, and life doesn't work out that way. They become this boiling cauldron, this volcano about to erupt. And usually the eruption looks like some version of violence, likely against a female. And certainly they hate gay and trans people because they're in essence emotionally saying, hey, I have to put up with being enslaved to this societal norm. Why don't you? So there's a bunch of reasons why I'm going through my own transfiguration right now. But not the least of it is, like, I want to tell bio males, you don't have to fucking do that. That is a total lie from the pit of hell. We used to say it's a total lie from the pew of the church, the pulpit of the church. John Wayne is a character on the screen. His real name is Marion, or was Marion. I guess he's passed away. Jesus was not a brute. Joseph, I'm going to talk more about Joseph. I am convinced Joseph was gay. But what we do know is what is translated as the coat of many colors was a phrase only used one other time in the entire Bible and in the Hebrew scripture. And it was to describe what one of King David's daughters was wearing. It was a princess robe with long sleeves. So like a male robe wouldn't have long sleeves because they're going to be out in the fields and doing work. And so Joseph was wearing feminine attire, multicolored, which would also not have been male attire. And I always kind of then let it play in my mind that there's a reason, maybe more than one, that he didn't want to have sex with Potiphar's wife, because he didn't want to have sex with Potiphar's wife. And so with Jesus, with Jacob, with Solomon, with Joseph, we have these characters that are not he-man women haters. And so Christians, stop putting this weight onto your young men. It's fostering really bad behavior. It's part of why I'm working on my master's in family therapy, so I can work with men like this and say, it doesn't have to be this way. And a lot of that behavior you're exhibiting, the secret pornography, there's a lot of secret cross-dressers in the world, and a lot of Christian men who go to Christian conferences and get out their Tinder and Grindr and find a male to hang out with. And by hang out, I mean literally, and they watch a lot of gay porn because they're fighting what they call a demon inside, but what it really is the thing that makes the mask so uncomfortable. So anyway, thought I would share that tonight. So I'm wanting to walk along with people in a sacred rebellion. And part of that rebellion is to say, hey, social norm, fuck you. Religious norm, really fuck you. And search for a new identity, a new spirituality that's more in line with who each of us are. And wouldn't the world be a better place if so? All right, talk to you soon.